Hello everyone, Josh here with X's Network, bringing y'all another Outer Plane global tier list for the month of June 2023. It's been 2 or 3 weeks since we've last updated this, and man, this might be our biggest update yet because we went through and we revamped the entire tier list. We went through and regraded every single hero in the game for every category that we use for the tier list, and right now, we are now up to 12 categories. We used to have 10. We added the new guild raid for the side bosses and of course the main boss Maxwell. So that's been added to the tier list. We've made a lot of changes. We also went through and did more in-depth, looking and researching at each gear dungeon and special weapon and accessory dungeons. And we just went through and tried to make the most accurate ranking that we could, even better than the ones previous in our opinion. Of course, you guys can let us know what y'all think about it by giving us feedback, suggestions, or whatever in the comment section below, or of course dropping by on our Discord, which of course is also in the description below. All right, so let's go to the tier list. So the tier list, there's going to be some big changes that you're going to see right away. Obviously, we got the two new categories, Guild Raid Water and the Raid Guards Light and Dark. If those Light and Dark, Raid Guards stay the same for every raid boss, obviously that'll be great. But if they add new ones or something like that, or different mechanics, we will make new sections for that as well. If we end up having 30 categories, within the next few months for Outer Plane, so be it. We just want to make sure that we have the most accurate tier list as possible. And, and don't get it twisted. No tier list is going to be perfect. It's very subjective, obviously. We try to make it as best as we can because we do a lot of, research. We ask a lot of questions. We do a lot of testing. Just lots of stuff that we can do to collect as much information and data as possible to put together a list like this. And we also, of course, use every category, every major category that we feel that we can fairly grade a hero in inside the tier list as well. That way you guys and gals can also see, what some of the strongest heroes are for certain types of content like tower or arena defense or offense, certain gear dungeons, etc., etc. So don't just look at the total grade and the total score and just think, oh, okay, that must be the best hero for this and this and this. No, you want to make sure when you are looking at our particular tier list that you're going through each individual category and looking for what type of content you're really trying to clear and what we have listed as the best heroes for that. Now, this is not the gospel, right? This is not the Bible, so you don't have to follow us 100%, but it's a good foundation. It's a good building block for you guys and gals to go forward on your accounts on Outer Plane. So just want to kind of clear the air there and get all that out of the way. Another big thing you're going to notice, nobody is SS tier any longer in the game. And this is a big time thing for us. This is a big deal for me personally. The fact that we have no true SS overall grade on any hero in the game is actually fantastic. That's just a testament of how many characters are good in different types of content and how well versed and diverse that the game actually is when it comes to units that you can use in different types of content, and how there is really no just one size fits all type of character where you have to have this one character, or there's a certain type of character that you have to clear every bit of content, and if you don't have them, you're just completely screwed in the game. We don't have a hero like that yet, but if there was going to be one right now, Veronica is pretty close. She's literally a 0.1 away from being tiered up to an SS, but it's justified because Veronica is so powerful with the way her exclusive equipment works and with how her kit works that she can assist your team. She can keep herself alive. She has very good self-sustain. She has tons of damage. She's bulky. She's a good bruiser type hero. You can build her a lot of different ways for a lot of different content, and there really is no content in the game where she's just not going to be at least viable. So the way that Veronica is built is incredible. Now, I'm not saying that Veronica, based on this tier list, is the best hero in the game, period. Like, oh my god, you have to get Veronica or you're screwed. Again, we don't really have a character like that in the game, but she's probably the closest thing to it at the moment. Valentine is still probably one of your major reroll targets, just for the fact that she's going to be an engine for your team for a long time, and until you start getting like really optimal endgame gear and you're able to build up tons of crit rate, tons of crit damage, and you might not need those buffs as much, but she's still going to be a big time player and a big part of the meta for PvP for the foreseeable future until the speed meta dies or gets changed up in a big way. But at the moment, she's not going anywhere in that regard. and she's still going to be strong as a good setup hero for a lot of your DPSs. So I would still say Valentine, even though we have her down here as a 3.5, which is borderline S right now. She could be dropped to an A if she was a 3.4. But again, this is based on 12 different categories that these units are being graded in. There are some areas that, of course, are lowering their scores because, like Gear Dungeon Blue and Special Dungeon Red for Valentine, she is not going to be used there at all. Like, absolutely not being used because of the way the mechanics of those stages are. It works against Valentine. So she's going to be getting D's in those categories. So, of course, it brings down her overall grade. So keep that in mind, guys. Don't look at just the total grade and the total score and base, your opinion on the character solely on those numbers and that letter. Look at each and every category to kind of better gauge what you're looking for in a hero and what they can do for you on your accounts and progression-wise. So let's run through some of these really quick. So we have Noah as an S, total grade 3.9. So obviously, again, not going to be rounded up to an SS unless she was a 4.5, which Veronica just missed it. Some of you could argue you could put her as an S in the Light and Dark, Guild Raid Guardians if you'd like to. But, I mean, we're just kind of arguing semantics at this point. I mean, she's literally just going to be moving up a 0.1, right? A 0.1, 0.2 tops. It's not really too much movement. Obviously, it does change her letter grade, and that might look a little bit more sexy to some of you out there. But, again, we were trying to be as fair and brutally honest as possible with these rankings. Some of these rankings will not sit well with some of you. We understand that. There will be, some heat that we might generate from this list, because some people are gonna be like, oh, but my hero is so perfect. I beat, I went in there and I leveled 100 a character and I beat this stage so easily with this character and 3 other units. But the problem is this tier list is built more so on individual performance, not so much on what your team's gonna look like. Because if we graded it based on the type of team you were building, these rankings, a lot of these would be a lot different and not as accurate and just not good for what we're trying to do with the tier list. So again, I just want to kind of throw that out there. Now we have Rin. Rin is a 3.7. So her and Noah are pretty close there in the total score. We have obviously Valentine 3.5. A lot of us went back and forth on what grade we should actually give her for the raid guards. Was it going to be a C, B, or an A? That's kind of where we kind of, we're arguing back and forth. We tried to make a lot of points. And keep in mind, when we make this tier list, this is not a one-man show, right? Obviously, I put together a majority of the list itself, like the design and, all the different tabs and stuff. But I did not do this on my own. I took a lot of information, research, data, and I put it all in here collectively to give you guys the best that we possibly could offer here at Access Network. Not to mention the tier list update that we just did, this big overhaul. We did that with other members of the Access community. If you want to be a part of that, make sure you join us in the Discord below, or of course follow us on Twitter at Access Network to always keep up to date when we do things like this, because I try to make it as much of a group effort as possible, because you want to get a lot of varying opinions. You want to get a good heated debate, because you want to make sure that the best of the information as possible is being kind of flooded in there, and we're able to take advantage of that. And you can't really get all that from just one person's perspective. You need many people to come in that have experience with the game, knowledge with the game, and understand what some of these characters are good and bad at, and then put it together, and then you start grading accordingly. So we definitely had quite the debate going on for what grade we should settle on for raid guards. We ended up with a B. Kind of found like a little bit of a middle ground there. We had some points argued towards, hey, she's using up a lot of turns because of her skill 2. Then we also had like, but she is boosting your DPSs, the certain types of DPS that you would be using, especially on like the stage 1 through 3 before you get into the 4 and 5s, where you'd use like a Lapis or a Marion or a Beth, for example. But those first 3 stages, a lot of people might be using, a Valentine with some other, DPS builds, and that makes sense as well. So we just settled on a B there. That's just one of the many examples of how much back and forth we went on a lot of these rankings. So a lot of time and effort went into this, ladies and gentlemen. This was no easy feat, but I do hope you all enjoy it. The next one down, we have Tio, 3.5. Still an amazing healer / cleanser. Good support for your team. Just great hero overall. And I believe she's the highest rated 2-star that we have currently overall. Yes, she is. And of course, her exclusive equipment, we can't forget that, how strong that is in PvP with the current speed meta. Okay, we have Siren, 3.4. Fantastic hero, especially if you're trying to use her in the raid guards. You pair her up with your Beth, you pair her up with your Marion, and those 2 units alone can go in there and do a ton of damage when you start working on your level 3, 4, and 5s of course, the raid guards for the light and dark. She's going to be an incredible healer. She's going to allow you to have that priority increase, resetting cooldowns. Like, she's doing a lot of stuff for you to also provide more damage with whatever your selected DPS is. So she's a little bit more than just healing and support. She's also providing you some additional damage by the way that she's allowing your DPSs to do more stuff. We have Claire. Claire just continues to keep impressing me and impressing us here at Exodus. The things that she's able to do is incredible. I actually used my Claire all the way up through all 100 floors of tower. I actually was able to beat 99.9% of the tower without TO, thanks to Claire, of how good Claire actually is. Talk about a hero that is just kind of a do-it-all character. She can provide you with DPS as a healer. She's the best DPS healer in the game by far. She's going to do some damage, okay? Her damage increase is also, her attack increase is very nice because it comes off her basic, comes off her passive. I think she's getting like 40% or something additional attack. You give her some flat stats for attack on her gear, and she's going to be good to go. Her shields are very, very thick, and you can spam all of her skills thanks to her exclusive equipment, because if she crits, she will reset her cooldowns. And that is absolutely incredible, because that means on chain abilities, that means when you're doing, a dual attack, if she's part of a dual attack with another hero that has dual attack in their kit, like a Veronica or a Valentine or whoever, anytime she's doing a crit with her ultimate, her skill 1, etc., she's lowering those cooldowns. So you're able to just keep spamming those shields, and her shields also provide you with AoE healing. Her skill 2 also provides you with more healing. I mean, she just has heals on top of heals, shields on top of shields, attack increase. She's going to be critting because you're going to build her with some crit. So she's going to be a very strong hybrid character that's providing you a lot of good essential things to keep you alive, and even provide you with a little DPS as a little bonus. So she's a 3.4. Both her and Siren just missed the mark on becoming S tier. Again, these things could change in the future. These tier lists will go up and down with certain heroes, depending on what type of content gets added and how metas shift. So there's that. So we're just going to quickly finish out the A tier heroes. We have Stella at A tier, Lapis at A tier. We have Eternal at A tier. Now, Eternal is a new hero that just dropped in the game. So, this is now our initial reveal, rankings for her on the tier list for the first time ever. So we got her at a 3.2. She, is not too far off of as an S as well. She's gonna be very strong in tower. Guild Raid Water. It's funny enough, she's off element, but man, when you're fighting Maxwell and you could throw Eternal in there to keep putting that speed down, kind of like a Dolly can, with her ultimate that has 100% uptime as long as you max it out, obviously, and the fact she also has the spamming defense down. Man, when you get up to that level 3 and you're fighting a 200k HP Maxwell who has pretty decent defense from what we can tell through testing, you pop that defense down. The rest of your units are starting to go off with some damage, and you really need as much damage as you can because you need to get him down within, 35 turns or so, and you need to hit him for 200k HP at least, so you can get your bonus points for the win and help, of course, your guild get higher up in the guild ranking. So a unit like that, like Eternal, she was very good there, even being off element. So that might surprise some of you, but through lots and lots of testing, even personal testing myself, Eternal is really good there. So she's rated very highly in the guild raid. Also, Gear Dungeon Green, very strong there. Obviously, Adventure. I mean, she's just a fantastic hero. So anybody who's got any doubts about how good Eternal is, hopefully this tier list changes your mind on that. She's a really, really powerful hero. And she has room to grow because her EE also allows her to go twice in a row, which is insane. She's going to be really strong in PvP. If we ever get a stall meta, she's just going to get better and better. Her value is just going to continuously keep going up. So I really, really like Eternal. 3.2 there as an A. Moving along, we got Cindy as an A. Vera 3.0 as an A. 2.9 for Kate. Francesca as an A. 2.8 for Dolly as an A. Dolly just suffers mostly because of the special dungeon red. Gear Dungeon Blue and Special Dungeon Green. If it wasn't for those and the way the mechanics work against her and her silencing and doing any kind of debuffs and kind of hurting your team because of that, she would be graded much higher because Dolly is a very powerful hero. This is just a good case of make sure you're looking at the individual rankings on top of looking at the total grade and score when you are determining what units to build up, because some of these may not grade out well overall, but individually there are some, areas of need there that you want to definitely look and explore for those types of characters. We've got another A here. Maxwell, Leo A, Beth's an A, Sophia's an A, Fannon's an A. Now we're getting to the B tier. Now this is another one of those good examples of a unit that's probably a lot better in certain areas than what you're really seeing with her overall grade, and that is Edith. Edith is on her way up. I feel that Edith might eventually work her way to like a 3.0 or higher. We're still doing a lot of testing with Edith. How much evasion can we really stack on her? How much is she benefiting from like a counterattack set on top of already having her base counterattack chance of like 60%? How much defense versus how much attack is really the sweet spot for her? We're going to keep testing her and building her up. And she might start just climbing the leaderboards even more, climbing the tier list rather. Right now she's at 2.4 as a B. She's literally a 0.1 away from being an A. So she's definitely on her way up. She's definitely a hero that I'm really looking forward to pushing the limits with. I'm currently building mine up really hard right now. I already have a really good gear set. I already have 100. I'm just trying to get some skill books on her at some point, and then we'll see what she can really do. But man, she's been performing very well, above expectations for me, a lot of people as well. So Edith, definitely keep an eye on her. She's on her way up. All right, B, 2.3 with Eliza. Iris, 2.3 as well. 2.2 for Snow. Ava, 2.1. 2.0 for Adelaide. And 1.9 for Philia. Lane is a 1.8. We're going to have more videos about Lane and how powerful poisons can really be when it comes to controlling the unit's turn manipulation. We might have a video for that either later today or tomorrow. We'll see. But there's going to be some fun stuff we're going to do with Lane. If we get some more poison heroes, Lane might also move up the ladder. If we find some more cool combos with Lane, she might also move up the ladder because of that as well. So we'll see. Definitely keep an eye on Lane. She might have more usefulness than you think, and even more so than just being good in the guild raid water with Maxwell. So we'll see. Stay tuned. All right, 1.8 with Sigma. Please buff Sigma for crying out loud. Rona, B 1.7. 1.7 for Marion. We already know how powerful Marion is in the raid boss. Oh my god. Alpha 1.7 is a B. We have Pesketh, B 1.7, also has some good usefulness in the current raid boss for Maxwell. Lily, again, same situation. She also might be a hero that might be on the move as well. I know she's a 1-star and a lot of people overlook her, but she has dual attack capabilities on her skill 2 with AoE attack down on her ult, and of course has Marked, which we found out through testing does about additional 20 or 30% damage with her basic ability, which is insane. So we might be seeing some more of Lily as well. I'm currently building her up for my mono blue team, so we'll see how that goes, and potentially a dual attack team, which I've been really trying to build up with like Veronica, Valentine, maybe throwing a Sophia in there as well, just for a reliable damage dealer with lots of priority up and speed up. So we'll see what we can do with that, but it sounds like a cool and fun little project to do at some point. Now we are in the C tier. We have Tanya at 1.3. She's just 0.2 away from missing the cut for B, as well as Naru Kang. Naru Kang, I feel like would have ranked higher, but now with Eternal in the game, with the new changes to with the new changes to Alice, with more people starting to get access to Stella, I feel that the buff removal meta is going to be too powerful for Naru Kang to really find a good footing in PvP going forward, at least on the defensive side where people can just play around her easily. On the offensive side, she might find some usefulness. That's why she's one of the wild cards. And one of the rare ones that has like different ratings for the offense and defense because of that very reason. But yeah, once upon a time I had high hopes for her. I had really high hopes for her as a possible stall meta. But again, with all the buff removal, it's going to be very difficult. We'll have to see how that goes in the future. We have Lisha, 1.3, 1.3 for Blue, for Yuri, 1.0 for Shu. Shu, funny enough, there's only really one mode, one area that she's actually powerful in, and that is Special Dungeon Red versus Meteos. If you have the right gear on her, she can solo Meteos just like Veronica. So, yay for Shu. She gets an SS grade somewhere, right? We got Fenrir. at 1. Now we're starting to, you know, drop below the 1.0s now. Now we're getting to Party. We got Orox. We got K. We got Rico, Flameberg, and then our worst graded hero in the entire game, Guzum. And it's mostly just because the way his kit is laid out. It's just not really good in any particular place, more so than like any other option available, including like other 1 and 2 stars. So poor Guzum, it is what it is. He's a 0.3. You know, almost made to see. He's the only D in the game. So sorry about that, Guzum. It is what it is. Maybe they'll change your kit, make you better, or maybe we'll find a good use for you at some point. But that is the new updated tier list. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Again, no SS hero. And, you know, the numbers are there. The data is there. It just didn't work out that way. And it's very interesting. It's definitely something to look forward to in the future. Like, who's going to be our first SS, you know, post, you know, this tier list, you know? Because right now, we're literally a 0.1 away from making Veronica our first SS on the newly revamped tier list with all the new additions of the guild raid and the guild guardians. So this is going to be very interesting going forward. I can't wait. We'll see what some of these new heroes bring to the game, and if them are going to be game breaking or whatever. We'll have to see. We'll definitely add them to the list, do all of our reviews and stuff like that. Showcases on the channel as we always do. So don't forget to subscribe, take notifications, join us in the Discord description below as always, and follow us on Twitter at XS Network. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Until then, peace.